Hey guys, I hope y'all are having a wonderful day today. So we're going to be checking out a concealer that's going viral on TikTok. So I did tell y'all in a recent video that I wanted to start doing more under eye concealer reviews because a few of you have told me that they're helpful because we have similar under eye issues. So today we're going to be checking out the Winky Lux Peeper Perfect Concealer. So this isn't a new product. This has actually been out for quite some time, but it's just now taking off on TikTok. So we're going to test this out on my under eyes today. You guys know that I have under eye darkness, I have bags, and I have wrinkles under my eyes, so we're going to see how this applies on me. And then of course we're going to do a wear test with a halfway mark check-in. We're going to see if we can test this out for about 8 hours today. And then at the end of the video, I will let y'all know if I think that this concealer is worth the hype. So let's jump right into it. Okay, so I have y'all nice and zoomed in. So just so you'll know, I do have oily skin, but the skin under my eye is a little bit drier than the rest of my face. So I always look for concealers that of course give me good coverage, but also ones that aren't very drying on the eyes and ones that, you know, blend out really nicely and all of that. I usually would wear color corrector under the eyes if I'm doing like a full face of makeup, but whenever I'm testing out a concealer, I do not use color corrector because I want to see like the true coverage level of the concealer. So I don't want to pair it with something that will enhance the coverage. So I don't have anything on my under eyes except for my skincare. So let's jump right into applying this, and I'll give you guys the backstory about why this is going viral all of a sudden, and then we'll do the wear test. So this is the shade Deep, and I bought this months ago, and I never used it just because, but I bought it because I think this shade might do okay on me. So that's the shade Deep, and a lot of you guys know that quite often I have issues with finding shades that I can use in concealers and foundations. This one looks pretty promising. It does look like it's a bit more on the neutral side, and I like pink tone concealers, but I think I can get away with this. So again, this one is the shade Deep, so let's test it out on my under eye. So there is no type of like applicator with this one, so I'm just gonna pick some up on my finger. Let's do about that much because I have no idea, you know, what amount of coverage I'm going to get with this. I'm going to use this little mirror for today. And then I'm just going to place the concealer right where I need the most coverage. So for me, that's like on the inner part of my under eye, and I usually put concealer like on the side of my nose because I always have marks there for my glasses. So I do wish that it had some sort of like doe foot or something that I could swipe it on, but no big deal. So I'm gonna let this sit for about 30 seconds and then we'll blend it out. Okay, I think I'm gonna use a smaller brush today. I usually blend out with the Rare Beauty foundation brush. I usually use this for concealer because of how big it is. It covers a lot of surface, but I think I'm gonna start off with a more detailed brush today. So this is one from IT Cosmetics. And then whenever I'm blending out my under eye concealer, I like to just pat my brush directly on top of the concealer. I don't like to swipe it because I want the coverage to stay concentrated like right where I put the product. So I'm just going to be patting it in. So I'm liking the way that this is blending out. It's blending out really nicely, and so far it's giving me a really nice coverage. A nice hydrating type of coverage, and it looks like it's adding some radiance to the under eye. It is pulling a bit more neutral. I think y'all can make that out on camera. So whenever the shade is a little off, I feel like it makes it a bit more difficult to see if the product is actually working because it is pulling neutral. But in terms of how it's covering, it's actually giving me a good amount of coverage. Now, it's nothing that's like blowing me away so far. I mean, you can definitely see a difference from concealer versus no concealer, but it is giving me like pretty good coverage. I like that so far. Let me know what y'all think. So I'm gonna go in with one more layer so we can see like how it builds up. So let me just let this sit for just a little bit and then we'll apply a little bit more. Okay, I'm gonna do this the same way I did it the first time. I'm picking up a little bit more on my finger, and then I'm gonna apply it right on top of that first layer of concealer. I'm also gonna put just a little bit over here. And I'm going to let this sit for 30 seconds or so, and then we'll blend it out. Okay. Yeah, this blends out really nicely. It's one of those ones, you know how sometimes concealers, they will set down really fast, so you can't let it sit for too long. This one, you can definitely let it sit and then it'll still be nice and blendable. Okay, I'm just taking the residual and I'm just kind of blending it down on my cheekbone a little bit. Now don't ask me how I did this, but I'm just realizing that I didn't put foundation on yet. I always put foundation on first and then concealer. For some reason I guess I was excited. I don't have on my foundation yet, but no big deal. Okay, so this is what the under eye looks like. I actually really like this. Now remember, the undertone is a little off for me. Like I said, it's pulling neutral, and I think that that might be throwing off the way it looks a little bit, but I'm trying to get past the shade and I'm focusing on just how it's covering my under eye darkness and all of that, and then just how it's blending on top of the skin on my under eye. And so far I really like it. Like it's not something that I would pick up over any other concealer that I have been using lately, but that's more so because of the shade, not necessarily because of the coverage or how it blends or anything like that. I think it looks really, really nice. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna apply some to this under eye, and then I will give you guys some information about the product, and I'll also explain why it's going viral on TikTok, and then we will do the rest of my makeup and then we'll start the wear test. The Winky Lux Peeper Perfect Concealer is a full coverage ultra creamy formula that blends effortlessly into all skin types, and it's packed with collagen, hyaluronic acid, and vitamin E. It creates a brighter, more awake under eye effect, and it helps to hydrate and protect delicate skin. So this ended up going viral on TikTok because of a TikToker named Abby Rivera. So I'll either put her TikTok handle, or if I can link her specific video, I'll link that in my description box. So she has an under eye condition, and I'm not sure what the name of it is, but she has a lot of fat deposits under her eye. So she did a video on this, and she said it was the best concealer that she's ever used, and because of that the video went viral, and now everybody else is testing it out. So like I said, I will have her information linked in the description box, so you can head on over to TikTok to check her out. And again, her name is Abby Rivera. For this concealer, I am testing out the shade Deep. This comes in 10 shades, which I know it's not a lot, but it does have a pretty good range from lightest to darkest, and it retails for $16 at Ulta. Okay, so this is what the under eyes look like. I just want to show you guys just the concealer before I go in and set it, and I really like this. Like, I hope that Winky Lux takes note of this product going viral and that they add more shades, because this shade is a little off for me. It just needs like a little bit more pink to it, but I can definitely work with the shade. But this is really nice. The coverage of it, it's really pretty. Now, I personally would not consider this the most full coverage concealer that I've ever used, and right now I'm using the Anastasia concealer. I think that that one has more coverage than this one, but this one is nice. This one gives an adequate amount of coverage, and I really like the finish of it. For those of you who like to have like a hydrated looking under eye, I think this looks really, really nice. So let me quickly go ahead and set the under eye. I always set my under eye concealer with my Kosas Cloud Set Powder. This one is the shade Pillowy. So I'm just going to take a little bit of that and dab it right on the immediate under eye area. I do have some of the concealer down here too, but I'm not going to set that yet because, like I said, somehow I just forgot that I didn't put on my foundation yet. So I'm just setting just the immediate under eye area. Okay, and let's see what it looks like with the setting powder on top. I think it looks really, really pretty. I'm just not crazy about the shade, but I think the coverage is pretty good. Let me know what you guys think. I'm going to quickly do the rest of my makeup off camera. I'll show you guys what that looks like, and then we'll start our wear test. Okay, so here's my makeup for today, and as always, I'll have everything that I'm wearing in the description box. So my first impression on this, I really like the finish of this. I think my under eyes look really nice and hydrated, and it looks like a really nice, like natural, radiant finish. Now on camera, let me know if you think that my under eyes are looking a little dull, because I feel like it might might be coming off that way on camera, but that's more so the color of this. I just don't think that this shade suits me as well as like some other concealers. This is just a little bit too neutral for my skin tone, but I think it looks okay. But I'm more so focusing on the finish of it. I think it looks really, really nice. This isn't the most full coverage concealer that I have ever tried, but it does give a good amount of coverage. And like I said, I just really like the finish of it. So let me know what y'all think. But of course, we all know that we're gonna have to wear test this for a few hours to see how it holds up during the day. So let me know your first impression in the comments, and let's get started with the wear test. So it's a little after 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So I will be back in a few hours, and then we'll do a halfway mark check-in, and then I'll stretch it for another few hours, and then I'll come back and I'll give y'all my final thoughts. So I will see y'all later on. Okay guys, I've only had the concealer on for like 10 minutes, so this isn't the check-in. I just wanted to show y'all what it looks like in natural lighting when it's freshly applied. So I think the shade of it looks a little bit better in this lighting. I'm sitting like across from a window, so let me know what y'all are thinking. But I just wanted y'all to see what it looks like freshly applied in different lighting. So like I said, it's only been like 10 minutes now, so I'll be back in maybe like 4 hours, and then we'll see what we're looking like. Okay guys, it is 5 o'clock, a little after 5 o'clock, so we're about 4 hours in, and this is what we're looking like. I'm sitting in the same spot that I was in earlier, so I am in front of a window, but it's a very cloudy, rainy, you know, stormy day. So I think my under eyes look okay. Like this concealer so far is like nothing spectacular to me, but it's a good concealer. I think that y'all can tell because my face is getting shiny. I think you can tell that the under eye area is looking a little drier than the rest of my face, because I did say earlier that my under eyes are drier than the rest of my face. So it is looking drier than, you know, the perimeter, but it doesn't look like dry. You know what I mean? Like to me, it still looks pretty good. Let me know what y'all think. I'm still not crazy about the shade of this on me, but I am trying to look past that, and I'm focusing on how the product is laying on my skin, and I think it looks pretty good, you know, so far. Let me know what y'all think. So I'm gonna wear it for another 4 hours, and then I will give y'all my final thoughts. Okay y'all, it is 8:35 in the evening, so we did about a 7.5 hour wear test today, so like basically 8 hours. So I'm just going, you know, end it here. So this is what we're looking like. So let me know what you're thinking about the under eye area. I definitely have some pros and some cons about this Winky Lux concealer. So let's talk about the pros first. I do have to say, I'm just like blown away at how this concealer wore on me today. I think it wore exceptionally well for 2 reasons. Number one, I think that my under eyes just look really nice and hydrated and nice and quenched today. I did go ahead and blot a lot of that excess oil that I had at the halfway mark. I blotted shortly after that, just because we're not focusing on the foundation today, but that is making my, you know, my face look a little more balanced today. But also it's the concealer itself. Like my under eyes, to me, they just look really nice and hydrated, and they stay looking that way all day long. And I just think that the skin under the eye just looks healthy today. So let me know if you would agree with that. But also the biggest pro that I have about this concealer is that it did not crease at all. So whenever I'm looking to see if a concealer is creasing on the under eye, I always look like right along this area, because this is where the concealer is sitting like relatively flat on my skin. I never look right here where I have those lines, because the lines are there, so everything is always going to look like it's creasing right there. I always look like right along this area, and I just don't see any creasing at all. Like I'm really blown away at how well the concealer wore today. So my favorite concealer right now is the Anastasia Beverly Hills Magic Touch Concealer. I love how that concealer wears on me, but it does have very minimal creasing, to the point where if you're standing across from me like at a normal distance, you wouldn't be able to notice it, but it does have like very minimal creasing in it. But I feel like this one, it just wore better. Like it did not crease, it didn't move, it just stayed in place, and it stayed in place all day. So I think it wore very, very well on me. Probably the best concealer wear test that I've ever done. I know that sounds very hyped up, but it's true. So I really love the way that it wore on me. So those are definitely my pros, but I do have a couple of cons about this concealer. So the first one is the shade. So not everybody's going to run into that, because some people will find shades that will work for them, but this only comes in 10 shades. This is definitely the best shade match for me. Again, this is the shade Deep, and I just don't like the shade on me. Like, I feel like it's pulling a little neutral, and I don't know if you can tell, I have the concealer pretty much in the center of my face, and to me it just doesn't have like that vibrance that my normal concealers give me. Like, to me it's just pulling just a little too neutral. But like I said, not everybody's gonna have that problem. And then my other con, and this is a big one, it's the coverage level. So this concealer does give good coverage. Like, I would wear this not necessarily on like a no makeup type of day, but maybe on a day where, you know, I'm just not going for like a flawless look and I just want to look, you know, more put together. Like, I can definitely wear this concealer in terms of the coverage that it's giving me, but it doesn't, to me, give as much coverage as the Anastasia concealer, or my other two favorites are Rose Ink and the Too Faced concealer. I don't think that this one has as much coverage as those. So it has good coverage, but to me it's not like the most full coverage concealer that I've ever come across. So I would say that this is definitely worth trying out, especially for those of you who don't feel like you need like super full coverage under the eye. Definitely try it out. But even if you do need like full coverage, maybe still give it a try, just because I'm just still like so blown away at how well it wore on my skin. So do I think that this is viral worthy? I mean, I feel like I do, because I just love the way that it wore on me, and this will work for a lot of people. For a lot of people who don't have like really bad under eye darkness, I think that this would be a good concealer to try out. So those are my final thoughts on this Winky Lux, what is this called? The Winky Lux Peeper Perfect Concealer. Those are my final thoughts. So I hope that y'all enjoyed the video today and that you found it helpful. If you did, please let me know by giving me a thumbs up. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel before you head out, and I will see y'all back here for my next one. Until then, take care. Have a good one, y'all. Bye.